Oseo.
Oseo.
Yatehe, as the Navajos say. We are here all feeling ourselves in the tide of a post-election victory. A victory that's come out of a contest, so that now harmony can be restored. Here I'm going to do a chant from the Ant Way, and that is the Wolet Hatal. And it's being sung by Red Ant Man in this, but he's singing as the same as the Red Ant Woman, be the female branchway. And this way you can see what has happened here and what the ants, figure in this. So on behalf of Turtle Island and all of her nations, the Buffalo Nation, the Wolf Nation, the Feathered Nations, the Reptile Nations, the Plant Nations, the Insect Nations, we are here doing this chant way. This is the ant chant way. Enya oh enya enya oh enya 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 yo enya enya awaya enya. His arrow he has shot it, hey 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 hey. His arrow he has shot it, hey hey hey. His arrow he has shot it, hey 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 hey. Red ant, dark one I am, hey 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 hey. As I come down, hey hey and shot it, hey 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 hey. With red stone arrow I carry, hey hey. So now he shot it, hey 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 hey. With the dark bow I carry, hey hey. So now he shot it, hey 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 hey. The wicked things, witchery, thereby to kill it as I come down, hey 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 hey. So now he did shoot it, hey hey. His arrow he now has shot, hey hey. His arrow he now has shot, hey 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 hey. And hey, with my arrow he did kill it, hey hey. With my arrow he did kill it, hey hey. So he did, yeah hey, yeah hey, yeah hey hey hey. So red ant, dark one I am, hey hey. Therefore he killed it, hey 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 hey. The wicked thing's witchery has gone far away. He, yeah hey, that monster has gone far away. So now from his very place, this very place, it has gone far away, hey 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 hey. From Red Ant Woman's home, from the very center of her room, it has gone far away. That monster away from you has gone, hey 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 hey. So now in beauty it will be settled. So now in beauty it has settled. Hey 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 hey. Whenever there is the event of a great change, that means that that indicates the Coyote Star is in the center of the sky. You can look up here, this is to represent the Coyote Star. The Coyote Star is hidden or invisible. His only proof is his presence, which is the state that brings to summation all the others. All that is there at present, all that was there in the past, all that was there will be in the future, and whatever else is beyond these. All this is to enter this parallel to something that's correlating with the ant culture. There is in Native America, you want to know the buffalo culture and the wolf culture and like that, but there is the ant culture, very extensive and very deep. And the Cherokee is the Aniawi. The Aniawi, see, not we, meaning the ant people who are the ant nation, the ant people who are humans who know the ant and form that kind of clan. For an illustration, shall I say, the late Gina Dickinson, our longtime den mother of our Celtic ensemble, who has, recently departed for Shinar, the ancient land. the three of us were hiking out there in Horse Thief Canyon Trail in the back country, coming up the trail, and she stopped midway, just totally, ecstatic, like this. She was lit up. I didn't even know what it was. She was looking down at the ground. She had met the ant, and the ant illuminated for her and convey, I would say, the circle of her gratitude to there. So now that she would become, she'd be in, what I'm saying, the ant clan, the clan of the Aniawi, in that way. Another ant, we lived over in Arizona, Vivian Olds, who is watching this right now, and who is a longtime member of our tribelet. We lived in a cottage there in Arizona, and she and her young daughter, Nivy, had encountered an ant in the washroom. And this ant was appearing daily, every day. And they gave it the name of Crumb. So that was a relationship with an ant. So people have an ant dream, or they've encountered an ant, and all of this. And who are the ants? The origin of the ants is not here, but down there, very, very far down. Many tiers down they've originated. But even so, Grandmother Spider is their mother. So they say, Spider Woman made those ants. And she brought them all up and all around, and some people kind of moved away this way and that way to kind of get out of the way of the ants and all of that. So that's one way that they have come about. Now, they are more in our lives than we might realize. But people who have actually cultured this ant culture have a lot of knowledge, for that. Now, the ants had evolved in several tiers coming up, and they often were, succumbed to interscene conflict. And that would sort of end their season in that particular stage, and then something would bring that about, so they evolved into a next stage. And so this sort of thing kept going on and kept causing a lot of casualties. And it would seem that another stage of this kind of casualties would exterminate them. So the holy people intercede. The holy people came in. And for these holy people, they built a hogan. The hogan is really an anthill. It's called Big Ant's Hogan. And here I have made this miniature. This is Big Ant's Hogan. It is crossed by rainbows, and its quarters have arrowheads like jet and onyx and turquoise and like that. So the holy people, and the holy people here was the November wind, the Lichi, and winter thunder, Dona. And so now they want to know, what can we do so that the people can get restored like that? So that's the kind of question like that. Well, Big Fly, here is Big Fly. He's the supreme mediator. He can mediate anything between anybody or anything. So he's the supreme mediator. So in this, he's the mediator, and the holy people are saying, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And he said, well, there's two elder men who have accomplished in the world, and they're sitting on each side of the portal at the doorposts, like that, opposing each other. So they would know. And the holy people said, well, who said that? Well, one of them said it. So yeah, as Joe, did you say it? And then Joe said, no, Donald said it. And Donald said, no, Joe said it. He said, well, this one we can't settle, we can't know. So the holy people had to figure out something. We'll say the one who can see through the earth, the one who can see through the water, the one who can see through darkness, the one whose ears can hear. That one, Joe, is you. So that's how that they could bring this about for this restoration. And we're saying Big Fly was the mediator, that brought this about in that way. So this has a kind of correlation to current events. Now we can see that this, what we're talking about, is this restoration. And the ants, the ant nations, have gone through these situations, these cycles, where they bring themselves almost, to extinction until they have to find the way to bring, peace about. So there are many ant nations, and red ants and black ants and blue ants and yellow ants. So all of those ants are relevant in this. And for this, let me deliver this piece. The Aniawi, the ant people, to the ancient ones who ascended from the middle of the world below, whose homes cover the earth, yellow ant, blue ant, red ant, white ant. Yo-ho-ho-way, 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 yo-ho-ho-way. To you whose homes are covered with mountain tops, yellow, blue, red, and white. Give us your hearts so that this earth will be well watered. This is my song. I make the ancient road that my song may pass over it. Mothers of good thoughts, yellow ant woman of the north, blue ant women of the west, red ant woman of the east, your medicine is precious to us as it is our hearts precious to us. Come to us. May your thoughts come to us. Ha-ho, ha-ho, ha-ho. Thank you very much. So also up here, so that we have the symmetry, we have the ants that are all of the earth. And you look up here, this is the sky ant. This is the sky ant. And this ant is the constellation of Pleiades. So that's who this is. And the sky ant is called like the head feather of the north. That's who that ant is up there. Now we're going to start another phase here, since we just have had the Sabin, the end of the year, and now entering into the whole time, or the timelessness of blackness is her body, where everyone from the end of the term has been born into her. Now it's kind of conjectured that when we have finished our term and we're born into her, we return to Shinar in the form of an ant, Shinek. So this is the story about the Shinek and the owls. It's also a place. This is a place. And in my painting here, I've illustrated that place. If you look here, this place is in Nevada. And this place in Nevada is called Winnemucca. And Winnemucca, interesting, is actually an Arabic name for one moccasin, and it's exactly parallel to Pyramid Lake. And it's a very ancient place that is still there. And here in the story is called the cave underneath the big rock. And in this cave is where these two owls live. And this is the actual place that it has occurred. South of this place, just about 40-50 miles, there is this hill that rises, it looks like an anthill. It's actually called the Hill of Succulents. And it's just west, actually, of Wadsworth, where Vivian lives. She can actually look out from her house and see this hill that looks like an anthill. So that's where all of this is happening. So now we can start with the story. I guess you can look down here too, since I have this image here of the two owls and the ant. Okay. So here's old man owl and old woman owl living in the cave beneath the big rock. So on this day, old man owl, he says, "Oh, I'm going to go hunting." And say, "Where are you going hunting anyway?" He said, "I'm going hunting down there by that hill that looks like an ant hill." So old man owl, he flies down there like that. And he's looking around there. And while he's looking around, he's starting to hear some kind of crying, like a baby would cry. Wah, 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 like that. So he's looking around, and then he looked like there's like a hole, like a rabbit hole. He makes that. He hears that sound, a baby sound coming out of there. So he reaches around in there, he can feel around in there, he gets a hold of something, and starts tugging him, and pull him out like that. From all that tugging, he got kind of thin in the waist, you know, like that. And he laid him down on the ground, and he's saying, "Well, whose baby are you anyway? So I'm gonna take you home to old woman owl, see what she can do with you." So he picks up the little feller, and he flies on back down to the cave underneath the big rock. Old woman owl is there, and she's saying, "Hey, what do you have there anyway? Whose child is that anyway?" He says, "Oh, I found him there at that place, you know, that looks like the ant hill. So now you can take care of him." And she said, "Well, I'll do the best I can anyway." And so they kind of have this little feller. They kind of dress him up in little mouse skins or something like that, And they give him a little bow and arrow, you know, so he can kind of learn how to shoot. So it goes pretty fast, you know, like that. And they have a pot that's constantly, you know, cooking, you know, on the fire. And so whenever old man owl, you know, catches something, a little, you know, rodent or grasshopper or something, he drops it into the pot, you know. So it's, you know, always cooking all the time. In the meantime, the little shindig, he's just going around, you know, just being himself and learning one little thing after another like that. Well, one day, the old man owl, he comes by and he drops in a snake he had caught, dropped it in that cooking pot, and then went out. That little shindig, he saw that, so he went up there, that pot, you know, tasted it. And suddenly, his eyes was open. Suddenly, he woke up. Well, old man owl came in and he saw that. And said, "Oh, now, now I see that you have, you know, finished. You've come to the term of your being here. So now I'm going to take you back to that place where I found you." So he picked the little feller up and flew him right back over here to that hill that looks like an ant hill. And he left him down. And he said, "Somewhere there exists your mother, somewhere there exists your father, somewhere there exists your aunts and your uncles. And what you do about it is your own affair." And he flew off, leaving me there, wondering, what did he mean? That somewhere there is my father, somewhere there is my mother, somewhere there is my aunt and uncles. And what I'm going to do about it, going to be my own business. Thinking about that just made me sleepy, and I just laid right down on that spot and fell asleep. I have a postscript. Okay, I want to keep the story going, but it's so important about the owl. We talked all about the ants, but the owl equally. There is many caves up there in Nevada that have been retained, in other words, they haven't been bulldozed or something like that. And archaeologists have explored them. And in one of the caves, in about 1940, a couple of archaeologists, a man and woman, they found a mummy. Well, a mummy is, you know, not like the Boris Karloff kind of mummy. These are bodies that have dried because the atmosphere there, it's a desert, it's very dry. And the ancient people interred these into a woven envelope, we would call it like that. The name of the state, Utah, is the Egyptian name for that envelope. And in fact, the Americans invading that part of the country hauled out of the caves many, many mummies like this. So that place, then, this one mummy has been exhumed from and put in a museum in Carson City. And then just, I don't know, recently, whatever a few years is recently, Amy Dancing, the archaeologist, was doing some kind of study, and so she pulled out the drawer with that figure. That figure, because of the cave it was found in, it called Spirit Cave Man. So she pulled that out and did some tests, and in that test she realized that this figure was 10,000 years old. Yeah, practically a revolution, because nobody's supposed to be here that long ago, and so forth. And it caused a lot of fury and controversy that's still going on. And there's a lot more story to that. But what I want to point out is this here. I replicated this. And I've seen it in person in Carson City. It's made of wood, look just like that. And everybody knows that's an owl. So this owl was there interred with the mummy in the envelope, along with baskets and things like that. So that's pretty much a symbol for the meaning of these owls. Actually, Vivian and I, when we very first came to this place, there to greet us, sitting right there, was indeed a great horned owl. And that's how this whole episode unfolded. And that's the upshot of it here, as we are still basking in a new change, restoration of harmony and balance and all like that. And maybe some of these things that I was saying here today will correlate with other people. Thank you.